Welcome, friends. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Being and Making Disciples. We are very happy to have with us here one of the co-founders of FemCatholic, and that is Danielle Kaboshik. So, Danielle, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having us. It's truly an honor. Thank you so much.
Good, good. Well, it's all our pleasure. So, a couple of things about Danielle. She serves as the faith formation coordinator at her parish. She's also a member of the Diocesan Pastoral Council in the Diocese of Joliet. For FemCatholic, she is the director of events and operations. You were the planner, the lead planner for the 2019 FemCatholic Conference. I have a feeling there probably would have been like a 2020 and 2021 conference if it weren't for COVID. So once we're fully out of that, I hope that that's able to get back up and running, and we'd be happy to promote it. And mom to four kids, and you just love working in the church and leading people to Jesus.
I do. Absolutely. Yeah, it's I say that it's my purpose is to lead others to their purpose, and all of our purpose is Jesus, right? So that's
Amen.
so true.
Boom.
I really really like that. So a little bit about FemCatholic. I mean, what anybody can find out on the website is, of course, FemCatholic exists to educate, encourage, and empower women. And you recognize they're the untapped resource in the church. Um, Tell us more, like, what's your, like, I know we'll get into this a little bit more, but for anybody who's never heard of FemCatholic, like if they walked into an elevator and you were on there and they said, "What do you do?" And you said, "I work for FemCatholic." And they said, "What's that all about?" What would you say?
Yeah, great question. I would say that Fem Catholic is primarily a website where we have content that is for millennial women, and it's a lot of the same type of content that you might find on a secular website, but everything reads through a Catholic lens. We actually only have women Catholic writers for every piece that we put out. They have to be passionately Catholic, we hope, but practicing Catholic. And they have to, we hope that they're an expert in their field. So it's on all different topics. We have 5 different sections. So we have career, sex and relationships, body, culture, and church. And we have one post every day that just speaks to different things that women are thinking about.
That's a pretty high pace, like to have a post every day. That's no joke.
It's true. It's true. And that actually, we just started sort of sprinting in August. We did a relaunch of our website, hired section editors. So every single one of those has an editor who's in charge of it. And we do one post a week that way.
Gotcha.
That is awesome, Danielle. It's so creative. I love the website. I have a marketing background, so I just think it's got such
Oh,
a fresh and cool look. But what
thank you.
some may not know is you guys were just one of the winners of the OSV Challenge for Innovation in the Church. Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
incredible.
Thank you so
Incredible.
much.
Incredible. So for folks that don't know, I mean, there's thousands of applicants, right? So just
Yeah,
gotta
this
ask.
time there was 603 is what we were told.
Oh, okay, okay. 603 applicants, but in all the years, cumulative thousands, right? Sorry,
Yeah.
math. Anyway, um, gotta ask you, what was that process like? All the stages, and for your team, what was it like to actually win and know that you guys are one of the winners of $100,000 to further your mission?
Yeah, so it was an open application. They really accepted any idea. That was back in April. And they sort of touted it that, like, even if it's just a napkin pitch, like this idea that you have spur of the moment, or if it's something that you already are working towards, apply. So then there was a couple rounds. There were 24 semifinalists. And at that point, all 24 of us got to go through what they called an accelerator, and we worked with the University of St. Thomas and just some experts in various fields of actually building a business. They were really focused on trying to help us not just like give us money for a good idea, but set us up for success and sustainability. And so, yeah, so then when we found out we were top 12, we were so excited. There was supposed to be like a summit down in Houston that got all moved virtual, which was fine, a little bit different experience.
Mhm.
But the exec team for Fem Catholic still met together in a central location and watched everything virtual all together that day. So we got to be together when we won. And
Oh,
it just such an honor. And like
Wow.
truly winning was like just everything for Fem Catholic. Like
mhm.
we've been bootstrapping it for about 6 years. And so to be able to
6
just,
years. Wow, and that's a testament. Keep working. 6 years. That's not an overnight thing.
No.
no, right, right. And just to be like told, like, yes,
This
we
matters.
believe something as big as
This
OSB
matters.
believes in what we are doing. Yeah, just such a gift.
That's exciting. Well, I know also Redbird, one of the other winners, they've been doing what they've been doing for years as well.
Yeah,
So, so folks, it takes time, but it's worth it to keep following the Holy Spirit. So,
so true.
just doing more math because I'm good at math. Okay, I have my calculator out, but that's 0.5% of applicants. You were one of the select few. So I think a more important question though is, why do you think you won?
I think it's so our innovation is our target audience. And I think that that is why there is our target audience is millennial women, mostly in their 20s, who consider themselves Catholic but are not practicing Catholicism. So they would tell you, yes, I'm Catholic, whether that means they grew up that way or they identify that way for some reason, but they're not
Mhm.
going to church. 66% of these women do not attend Mass weekly. So they're feeling one way and identifying one way, but
Yeah.
don't have a person in their life or sort of that guiding point of practicing church teaching or truly even knowing church teaching. That our mission and our goal is to reach those women
Yeah.
who no one else in the Catholic Church that we know of is intentionally trying to reach them.
I love it, and that's Dan and I, we wrote a book on about ministry
Mhm.
implementation, but it's about focusing on the lost sheep. You have to know who you're going after, and, just something else you said made me think of I was watching this video, it was of basically millennials sharing their faith journeys, right? I think Ascension might have helped with these years back. They interviewed this one young woman, she was a millennial, I think, and she said that she would describe herself as alt Catholic. I was like, "What
Mm,
does that even mean?" But just to know what people are labeling themselves and how they're understanding their Catholicism is very different than what we might think, and we have to first
yeah.
listen to them if we're gonna do anything to try to reach them for Jesus.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And like at the heart of this, we just have a heart for both women and for the church. And we want to see both better.
I like that. And it really seems like you're earning the right to be heard.
Mm,
Like before you try to tell people what like who they should be and how they should think, you're entering into that dialogue with them and creating a space where they can say like, I'm not there yet. Yeah, I call myself Catholic,
mm,
but here are the pieces that I don't necessarily agree with. And
mhm.
I mean, rather than starting with, okay, here's the things that you're supposed to be doing. How can we get you to do those things? It's more like you tell me like what like where are you? What's important to you? Why do you still call yourself Catholic?
Yeah, Dan, that is such a good point, and that is exactly um, what we're trying to achieve. We talk about trust as an exec committee all the time. Like, how do we gain these women's trust? Like, yeah, we want to be sort of that big sister that they can come to. Like, what does FemCatholic say about all of the hot topics that they're reading about in other places? I mean, they're on Refinery 29, they're on the Skim, they're reading the New York Times. They all have a lot to say about the topics that we're talking about. But, you know, these women also say their gut is Catholic. And so serving them what the Pope has said about it, or church teaching, or the catechism, or different saints, they're not receiving that information anywhere else.
And not to say that like any of that's wrong, but I mean like what comes to mind is that quote from Pope Paul VI. um, we don't listen to teachers, we listen to witnesses, and if we listen to
Mm,
teachers, it's because they're first witnesses, and all of those sources you just cited, like they're true,
yeah.
but they're teachers. And I think now more than any time like recent memory, let's say the past 100 years, our authentic witness of our relationship with Jesus Christ is way more important. It's always been more important than what we know. Like to be able to cite the catechism or this or that saint, like, yeah, that's it. That's nice. But if you can't cite your relationship with the Lord and say like and make that attractive, then nothing else is that important anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so true.
Um, so like you said, what was innovative about you was your audience.
Yeah.
And like Justin said, it's the alt Catholic, the Catholic-ish, the Catholic curious.
Uh-huh.
um like whose idea with it, or how did you come to the realization, oh my gosh, nobody is reaching out to these women?
Yeah, we didn't start that way, honestly. We started, so this came out of a action plan from Given, which is a conference for women. Um, Sam and I both attended in 2016. That's actually how we connected, was at Given. And her idea, Sam is our founder, her idea really came out of this desire to look at the intersections between feminism and Catholicism, and sort of showing that church teaching is already upholding women in many ways. But she wanted to lay that out, so that's where the blog was born out of, as a way to support women in the church in general. But what we kept finding is that the people who were finding us, the women who were finding us, had these needs that they weren't finding other places. And we also were finding that so many women were telling us, like, I didn't know there were other Catholics like me out there. I didn't, we gave them a place to belong, essentially. We really try to, everything that we write and post on Instagram, etc., and at our events, we really try to be bold but gentle. And I think, I think that's just a tone that you don't see much in Catholic media.
I aim it. Yeah, 100%. So, like, help us. How do you be bold and gentle at the same time? Because that's a trick.
I think a lot of it is meeting our audience where they already are. We know that these women are living in the world, and there's a lot that she comes up against that maybe the church believes the opposite, right? The Catholicism has so much beauty that is countercultural. But we know that true ignorance exists. Like, these women are living in the world and just don't know, what the church has to offer. And so, like I said before, like, trying to be that big sister instead of like pointing a finger, welcoming her in and saying like, let's talk about this, essentially. And again, all of our content is like blog posts, so it's not like we're actually having these conversations, but that's where we try to start. We're really intentional about the tone of our articles and not being judgmental, but more like invitational.
Got it. There was one thing that stands out to me, I think was really unique, was you listened to what people wanted. And it would have been very easy to just keep right, like, okay, we're going to do our thing. We're going to write about what's important to us. But like, somebody or multiple somebodies took the time to like interact with those people and realize what they needed. And to me, I think that's one of the key steps in evangelization, is to, it was the founder of the Catholic movement, Communion and Liberation, Luigi Giussani, said, nothing is more unreasonable than answering a question that hasn't been asked. And it sounded like you went first, like, what is our audience asking? And then let's answer that question, rather than telling them the answer to a question they hadn't asked.
Yeah, that's so true. And, we talk a lot about on our exec team that the Holy Spirit put us together for a reason, and the four of us have very different gifts that we feel like lend well to this mission. And I have to say, our founder is that listener. She makes frequent phone calls to people in her life who, we've asked, like, do you believe this thing? Can we talk to you? She will make phone calls and talk to people and take notes, and then we'll talk about that in an exec meeting. Like, here are our audience's pain points. Like, here's what our audience thinks about insert, controversial topic here.
Mm-hmm.
How can we respond to that? Like, how do we respond to that in a compassionate way with understanding where she's coming from? And so I think that because of Sam's gifts of being such a good listener, yes, like, FemCatholic totally is able to, and it's so good at that.
Yeah, Danielle, I'd love to ask you a little bit more about your team. So 6 years, that can seem like a long time to folks. What was it that kept you guys going all that time? And how did God bring different people to the team as you went? Maybe it'll be an encouragement to one of our listeners out there working on a new project.
Yeah, and so our team has not looked the same the whole time. And I think, right, like, sometimes someone's there for a while and really adds a lot and then needs to step back for some reason. And so, just like anything, we've seen that. So Sam started this in 2017. I got involved in 2018, and there was a team of 4 of us who put on the conference. And then we all had met at Gibbon, so that we sort of connected in that way. And then just in 2020 is well, Amanda. Okay, and then Amanda's the editor. She's been along for the whole time too. So she's the main person doing all of the sourcing of authors and helping people write. She does tons of behind the scenes work. And she has been with Sam. She and Sam are friends from Notre Dame, and they have worked together since 2018 as well. So then it was just in 2020, at the end of 2020, that Emily, which she does all of our marketing and social media, that she became part of the team. And it was as we were looking at this relaunch, targeting a different audience, like sort of focusing in on our target, that her skill set, she had a passion for our mission as well.
Perfect timing for a marketing person to step in right there. Right when you were ready. Right when you were ready for it too. Lessons learned, mistakes in the past. We got it figured out now. Emily, hi, nice to meet you. Thank you.
Yes,
God is good.
That just propelled us to where we are today. So just such a gift, and we really see the Holy Spirit's fingerprints on that the whole way. Just like the journey that we have made from formation of the original blog, where Sam was just like doing all the writing and typing herself, all the way to now. It's just we've kind of just had to say yes each time a door opened, and been led through time and again.
Amen.
So for listeners, the Emily that Danielle is referring to is Emily Mentok. She was a guest on the show going back probably 4 or 5 episodes. We interviewed her when we were talking about that awesome resource, Real and True, the kind of video visualization of the catechism. So it sounds like all of you are busy. Like you don't, like you're kind of making everybody else look bad. It's like, oh yeah, I'm I work full time and I have 4 kids and I'm on a diocesan pastoral council.
Well, another
leave some stuff for the rest of us.
We talked about Mother Teresa in the episode this week, but one of her marks was generosity. We have to keep saying yes to God, and He will give us what we need and the people we need, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So I want to turn to your mission. Justin and I are big proponents of really actually having a mission, focusing on it, living by it, knowing things like core values, what's important to you, who you want to be. And I love the simplicity of yours: educate, encourage, and empower women. And you chose 3 great verbs. And I actually see a lot of overlap with the evangelization process here. We could see you could say Jesus explicitly or implicitly did all of these things. And the last thing he told us in Matthew 28, go make disciples, which is the title of the book and kind of the motivation for everything we're doing. He empowered the church, said this is now your job, go do it. Why those 3? What made you come up with those 3?
Yeah, I think when we were narrowing down exactly what we wanted to do, those are the things that kept coming back to us. The educate portion, the church has so much wisdom and so many resources that if you're sort of not in the church bubble, you might not know about. Even the catechism is something, you mentioned Real and True. It's just something that many millennials don't know exists. So we wanted to educate women on something that they might know very little to nothing about. And then, we just kept coming back to all 3 of these over and over in what we wanted to do, but also what we were already doing. So we were able to, at the point when we chose those, look back a little and say, what have we done? What goals have we met? So it sort of, again, just sort of felt like it fell in our lap. It wasn't like we sat around thinking we need to pick 3 awesome verbs. It was just this is what we're already doing.
That works. Nice.
Well, it's it makes you think we're all translators for Christ in the church, right? That's what we're all called to do in every age. Saints have done different creative things in every age. And the breakdown that's happening right now that the church is reconciling now, I think, finally seeing more and more, is there's a translation breakdown where the church has this wisdom and knowledge, but the folks we're trying to reach, they ain't there. They're not. But it needs new, fresh, creative ways to not change what we're saying, but delivered in a way where it can be heard and accepted. So great job answering the call.
Thank you.
In fact, the new directory for catechesis, which is the church's document that guides all of our efforts in catechesis and evangelization, says that explicitly. Like, we need people to create a new language, new
Mhm,
expressions. So to take the same truth, but find a new way of helping people understand it and apprehend it. So
mhm.
not that we change anything, but we just find a different way to help somebody fall in love with it. And that's not, there's no one packaging of the truth that is infallible.
Dan is so good at quotes, by the way. I just got to say, like Dan can quote. You've got it, man.
Yeah, I'm
Thanks.
Right
sitting here
there from
wondering,
the
are you
general
looking at
director.
your wall?
Oh yeah, no, I just so that's the trick is I just have like hundreds of quotes
I knew
written
it.
all. It
He's got a quote wall back
drives
there.
my wife nuts. Yeah, no, it kills her. So here's another one just because I think everyone should know this quote and have it on hand. So Oscar Wilde, um, some people spread joy wherever they go, others whenever they go.
Hmm.
Whoa.
And so you always want to be the first, not the second.
Joyful witness. That's what Pope Francis
Yeah,
is asking for too,
yeah,
though. Joyful witness.
yeah. So all
What
right.
else on the wall?
Um, we'll have to wait for another episode. So, all right, let us hear the grand vision. Like, what is if Fem Catholic is phenomenally successful? What does that look like?
I think it means that women want to use their gifts for the good of the church. Yeah, right now it feels like there are women out there who just don't feel like they're necessary. They might go to church, and like I said, a lot of them of our target audience are not. But even those who are going to their church, they sort of feel like an extra. Like, we want them to know that their gifts, their thoughts, their opinions are necessary for us to be the best, the to show Christ. I mean, we know that you can go to all the JP2, complementarity, et cetera, but like, we need both in order to be the best version of the church that we can.
I think the truth of that can be seen simply in the reality that um, some people will simply not listen to another person for any number of reasons. Like, there are people who won't listen to a woman talk about the relationship with God. There are people who won't listen to a man talk about his relationship with God.
Mhm.
To somebody who like, it could be something as trivial as, well, I don't like that person because like their college is rival to my college.
Mhm.
And like, I'm not saying that that's widespread, but there's always somebody. And
Mhm.
if we don't get everybody on the team participating, we're just going to miss out. Like, there's too much work to do.
Mhm.
Okay, Justin, here's your next quote. So when Pope Francis came to the
Yes.
United States, he in Pennsylvania, he spoke to a group of bishops and priests and men and women religious, and he said one of the key challenges of today is for all of the faithful to take responsibility and become fully involved in the mission of the church. And I feel like what I hear you saying, Danielle, is the goal of Fem Catholic is to help women understand that not only is that like what the church wants, like they have a right as members of the church to take full responsibility for that mission and to be the ones to say, like, yeah, I'm not waiting for somebody to tell me what to do. I'm not
Mhm.
asking for permission. Jesus gave me permission when I was baptized. Like, this is my mission as a baptized Catholic.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, right. And something else that people don't feel empowered because they don't know that we're called to be priest, prophet, and king, right? Like, every single one of us is
Yeah.
called to do these things and preach the gospel. And we just haven't been encouraged to do that necessarily.
Amen. And you all are
Amen.
doing that. So I mean, like, thank
Woo!
you. Thank you. Uh, so
And we're loving it.
so recognizing we all haven't been encouraged to do that, what are some of the obstacles unique to women that make it challenging, let's say, for them to become more fully involved in the church?
Yeah, this is a great question. I think for women, some of the church teachings that are really hard to swallow in the secular culture are having to do with our bodies, and this is something that we immediately in our teenage years have to go up against. Often, teenage girls are being prescribed birth control, and maybe they don't know, or their parents don't know that that's not what the church teaches. And so then already, if they find that out, it's almost like, oh, well, I almost feel like betrayed. I didn't know that this was wrong. I've been doing something wrong, for my whole life. Yeah, and so I think that that's an obstacle, is that secular culture tells us a lot of very strong things that we're entitled to, that have to do with our bodies, and also that our bodies should be more like men in order to have equality. And women believe that. Women deeply to their core believe that. So I think that that is an obstacle that women specifically face, when trying to view, maybe later in their 20s, this identity of, am I Catholic? Am I living by church teaching? Yeah, a lot of stuff to do with body.
Gotcha. So how would you, and really how is FemCatholic helping women reconcile those challenges?
We're talking about them. We're definitely having conversations on our blog that are controversial, but only because they're so bold, like I said before.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like talking about all the things basically, and inserting, like, or putting a lens over, here is church teaching and here's the why. So we talk about like the dignity of the human person, and we talk about theology of the body. We don't really call it that because we don't think that our audience would understand, they just don't have the perspective to like understand what that means. But we talk a lot about human dignity and relationships, and we really try to touch all the pieces of things that a woman is wondering about with that Catholic lens.
I love it. I just want to encourage everyone that's listening. You might be listening thinking, well, but what about me? I'm not called to go reach women. We're all called to reach someone. And the approach you guys are taking is the method. And what our Pope has been asking us to do is enter into dialogue. That's the only way to get there, right? Is talk about it. I love your answer. We're just talking about it. That's the only way to get there. But you got to have the front porch ready. And that's what your website is, right? It's the front porch where they can sit and chat with you guys. And then eventually, right, get back to in-person events. You guys are planning to get back to those, right? And maybe starting to a little bit.
Yeah. So there's no like date scheduled, but I'm the head of events. So that's sort of what I need to do.
Yeah, they're coming.
Yeah,
it's a changing landscape. That's a tough, nobody's figured that one out.
Yeah. We're doing webinars right now, right? We're trying.
Yeah.
Awesome.
No, for sure. Well, I am absolutely in love with one of your writers. Her name is Regina. She's my wife, and so
we adore her too. We just think so highly of her.
With good reason. Yeah, she's wonderful. She's she's awesome. She's the coolest person I know. So, as you were describing your audience and how you're connecting with them, it really struck me that you've taken the parable of the 99 to heart, and like you're going after the people who aren't there. Like right now we're in the church, and whoever is there is almost by definition not our audience. Like they're coworkers. They need to go do something. We need to go do something. And I know you see this working in a parish, working in a diocese.
That's helpful.
We don't go out. Yeah, like we just don't go out. Like 99, if not 100% of everything we do in parishes.
Ow, Dan, stop! Your words are hurting me.
I'm good. I'm good. But so much of what we do is for people who are already there,
But at least I will say, it feels like the conversation's changing in the church, where everyone's realizing, especially after COVID. All right, it's like Dan Salucci was talking about in an OSV talk. They're not coming back. We're all looking around like, guys, we need to start talking differently together. So it feels like we're all starting to huddle up more and say, guys, let's look outward. Let's look outward now, and huddle and encourage each other, and be ready to get up when we fall down. And it's encouraging to hear. It took 6 years, but here you are now. Guys, we're gonna fail sometimes as we do this, but the greatest innovators, they love failure. Best way to learn. So we got to keep going, guys. We just got to keep going.
It is. Yeah. And that's, we talk about that a lot, and that was in our OSV pitch too. Just like this person is not she's not going to go to your donut Sunday or after,
No.
she's not there.
No.
She didn't
Yeah.
even go to
No.
church
She
today.
doesn't care
Right.
about the donuts and the coffee
She's
and the
at
news.
brunch, drinking a
Right.
mimosa and having like avocado toast or
But
something.
they do like brunch. Opportunity.
Exactly.
Boom. Brunch
Yeah.
evangelization. Here we go.
Yeah, right. And that we really hope to be able to be a website that the people in the pews can also read to send to their friends and family
Yes.
and neighbors who are not in the pews,
Or
because
empower them on how to discuss these issues over
Yeah.
Thanksgiving coming up, the holidays. Yes, give them a
Mhm.
language, give them a context, give them understanding that
Yeah.
your blog is a window into that world,
It is.
So
Yeah, it really could, like you said, be helpful just to have the language that our amazing authors are using, like that. I know I keep saying that tone, right? But
yes,
it is just so different.
of one
To be able
voice.
to like,
Mhm.
talk about it civilly, but also know
Yeah.
church teaching.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So one more question, then we're gonna do the hot takes and it'll be fun.
Okay.
So let's say somebody who's listening or reading FemCatholic is they're like 22 years old, 24, something like that. So they're like they're the next generation coming up after us.
What are they called, by the way?
Everybody has a different name for it. I don't know.
Okay.
Gen Z, like iGen,
Gen
I don't know.
ZZ Top. Okay.
Yeah, I think Gen Z is going to stick. I think iGen probably would have been the best one. But so let's say young woman listening really loves what you're doing. What advice would you have for her to, like, if you want to pass the baton and want her to carry on this mission, what can she do?
Keep talking and keep reading and keep going to the sacraments, or go if she's not.
Boom.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything that is good about FemCatholic is even better in person, right? Talking to these people in our lives about these things that they're probably Googling. We know that 37%.
Oh, they have an opinion about it. They have an opinion
Yeah,
about it. We
yes.
just got to ask for it.
And 30%.
And they're happy to share it.
37% of our audience is actually coming to FemCatholic because they Googled something. It might be a little different now with our relaunch, but yeah.
Yeah, that's still good. I
Nice.
mean, that's a
That's
lot of
awesome.
people.
Yeah, it's a lot of people who just want answers, right?
Yeah,
They don't necessarily want to be away from the church or want to be going against
They know
Catholic
something's
teaching.
wrong deep down too, what they're
Mhm.
hearing elsewhere. They know they need your the big sister.
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't mention this before, but we have something called The Insight, which is a weekly newsletter. And we try to hit what is going on in the news that week with that Catholic.
And guys can subscribe to that too, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we had
I'm subscribing right
Good,
now.
please do. We had one specifically about how to talk to these 3 different people in your life about the abortion laws in Texas. And just giving these women the resources to think about it more deeply themselves, but have these tough conversations with people in their life.
That's really good. I mean, it's just because that's a difficult one to navigate. How do you witness to that in a way that shows respect for women and for unborn children, and that keeps the conversation going, because it's so easy to just throw out a soundbite and shut it down, and then you lose. If the conversation doesn't continue, you lost.
Yeah.
So,
well, guess what, folks? I just signed up. FemCatholic.com. Join in the top right. 3 seconds. Boom.
Yeah. Okay. So people they can go to femcatholic.com to read all these awesome articles and get some of the other resources. They can sign up for the weekly newsletter. And then on Instagram, I know you're there. That's at FemCatholic.
That's right.
Okay. Any other social media platforms?
Technically we are on LinkedIn and Twitter, and Facebook, but we're most active on Instagram.
Okay, gotcha.
Makes sense for your target audience.
Yeah, head over to Instagram. Okay, so this is actually only the second time we've done hot takes, and I'm really excited to bring it back because
just you and Chris Stefanik, so no pressure.
Yeah. Didn't we do it with Dan Salucci?
Oh, we did do it with Dan. Okay,
gotcha. So, all right, so this is our third one. So
we cut it out with Chris. We ran out of time.
Oh, that's right, we did. Okay, so
Dan and Danielle.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. So you have to be named Dan or Danielle to have hot takes. All right,
so you're next.
Yeah,
And he hasn't
yeah.
done it. Yeah, and that ironic.
No, I haven't done it. So, okay. So Justin and I are going to take turns asking you these questions. So, first one, who's your favorite saint?
Saint Zelly, Saint Therese's mom.
Okay, nice.
Nice. Favorite scripture quote?
It's Philippians. Whatever is good, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is just, think of these things.
Ooh, that's a good one. I like that.
Yeah.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Okay.
Favorite place to travel to?
So I've been to Rome twice.
Mhm.
So yeah, I would go back tomorrow if I had the
Second
chance.
that.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Second,
gotcha.
second Rome. Yes.
Yeah. You can't, I don't think you could see all of Rome in like a lifetime. You'd still
No.
find like some underground church. Be
I
like,
got
"Look,
kicked
we
out of
just found an
Lateran
ink-"
Basilica.
Yeah.
I literally, I walk in there and they're like, we're closed. I'm like, you don't understand. I'm here from Florida. I'm not coming back for many years. They're like, sorry.
Yeah. I would have to have the caveat though that I would have to be able to go to the Amalfi Coast while near Rome, because that is the most beautiful place I have ever seen.
Okay, gotcha. So while we're on Rome, like I think we're all just like Romophiles. So what, like, if someone is going to Rome, what are 3 things they have to do?
They have to do the Scavi tour.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. Yes,
so
they do.
good.
We've
And
all
when
done
we
it then, all
went-
3 of us. That's kind of cool.
When
Nice.
we went, it was led by seminarians, and like you had to like be in the know. But I guess now you can like publicly sort of get
There was
those.
some secret website when I went. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Tricky
yeah.
to
And
find.
yeah, it's like you have to sign
That
up
felt
4
cool.
years in advance, and like you know, like it's
Mhm.
tricky. We like
Yeah.
Now it's on
And then I
Instagram.
would say you have to climb to the top. Like if you are able, climb to the top of the basilica. That was incredible. And then yeah, just like go in St. Peter's, see the huge chair and the dove. when we were there,
Go see the big chair.
when we were there, my husband's best friend was ordained a deacon in St. Peter's, and so like forever, that was like one of the most special moments of my life.
wow, wow.
Yeah,
That's
right
really
under
cool.
the Holy Spirit window.
Who ordained him?
I don't know that answer. I think
So it wasn't a pope.
it was not a pope. No, I think
Okay.
it was like whoever was in charge of the NAC.
Okay,
North
gotcha.
American College. Yeah,
Just some bishop.
just some bishop. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There's some generic successor of the apostles, but not the successor of Peter. Okay, so if I'm going to add, folks, get gelato. Like you
Yes.
have no idea what ice cream's supposed to be like until you have had gelato.
Okay,
It's
good
a
segue
different-
to your next question.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
there we go. So, what should everyone's favorite ice cream be?
Cookie dough, but it already is, right?
No, some people. Would you believe this? There are some bad people out there who like just vanilla.
What?
Yeah, exactly. That's like saying, "What's your favorite painting?" A blank canvas.
I'm all about the cookie dough.
That was
Yeah,
your
yeah.
quickest hot take response, by the way.
I
Okay,
know.
next
Yeah.
one.
We've been timing you.
Book you most want to read but haven't yet. What's next on your reading list?
Oh, so there is a book waiting for me at the library. Oh, can I have 2?
Yes.
Okay,
I
great.
suppose.
There's a book
Sure,
waiting
hot
for me
take.
at the library. It's by Louise Penny, and it's like number 18 in a series. It just came out last month, so I'm really excited for that one. But my book club is reading Emily Stimson Chapman's Letters to Myself at the End of the World, and I cannot wait to start that one. We just chose it yesterday, so
Nice.
yeah.
Can you repeat those two real quick? So what was it?
I don't remember the name of the one that I'm picking up because I
Okay.
just said the new Louise Penny. So it's like a murder mystery with the same detective all 18
Oh,
books.
nice. Okay. There can't be that many series that have 18 books in a row. So
It's true. It's true.
I mean-
This author does a great job at writing the human experience. I
Mm.
love these books.
that's
And
cool.
then the second one is Letters to Myself at the End of the World by Emily Stimson Chapman.
Okay.
She's- She's great.
That sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
All right. Most interesting food that you ate in the last several months?
I am not interesting when it comes to food. Oh, we grew our own eggplant and then made eggplant parmesan.
Oh,
that's
nice.
cool.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, homemade. I mean, that's like
Yep. Homegrown,
that
homemade.
that definitely counts. So
Great.
What are you secretly good at? No one would suspect. A hidden talent.
Ooh. I don't hide very much. I don't know. Oh, what am I secretly good at? I don't know. I don't know this one.
Humility.
It's
There we go.
it's a secret to me still. What I'm secretly good.
Okay.
What about mom
Yeah.
skills? You got 4
Secret
kids. What's
keeping.
one
You're
thing-
great at
what's-
secret keeping.
What's one thing you're really good at as a mom that you weren't expecting you'd be good at as a mom?
What I wasn't expecting. That is a good question. I love having conversations with them. And my oldest is only 8, so they're not that deep yet. They're usually about Star Wars with him. But like asking him the why, he always asks me why, but like asking him the why.
That might help you for your FemCatholic work. You're already practicing listening with them.
I guess you're right.
Yeah.
That makes me curious, Justin. What do you feel like you're best at as a dad that you didn't expect to be?
Discipline. I thought my parenting style would be different, but we have 4 boys, 6 and under, so
Nice.
it requires a disciplinarian side to come out. And
Yeah.
I'm getting better at finding that balance of when I need to be stern and when I can be gentle. I'm still working on it, but I'm getting there.
It is such a balance.
Yeah. What is it? Bold but gentle. Boom.
Oh, the
Yeah,
gentle.
yeah,
That's
bold
right.
but
That's a
gentle.
book. That's
Yeah.
a book needs to be written.
That's so true.
Indeed. All right. Best advice you have for a couple on their wedding day?
To over communicate. So like even if you think that the other person knows whatever, like
Great answer.
you have to say it out loud.
You've been talking to Regina Boyd.
I guess so. Like even just so we've been married 10 years just recently. And yeah, I think it took me a while to realize like he can't read my mind. He can't.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's like, we need to just put that on repeat. Over communicate. Like, just say what you want. Everybody say what you want. And then like, it doesn't mean you're going to get it, but at least the other person knows that you want it.
So true. So true.
All right. Well, final question. One thing you wish every Catholic would start doing today.
Taking time for silence,
Mm.
including cell phones, like just quiet silence, 5 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, fine.
The next 10
speaking to
minutes of this
myself.
episode shall be silence as a gift to our listeners.
Yeah. You can drive to work in complete silence. Maybe.
Next episode, silent episode.
Yeah, there we
Prayer.
go. There's got to be somebody who's done that, and like it's 30 minutes, and you have to listen to the whole thing and be like, is he tricking me? Like, is this really silence? Or on minute 22, does he actually say something interesting?
If no one's done it yet, there's a need we need to fill, right?
Yeah,
Like
there we go.
FemCatholic filled
We're-
that need.
we're
The silent
listening.
podcast.
We're
Yeah.
listening.
Yeah.
Just
So-
your guest will just be no one.
Silent audience, silent podcast.
We could have a silent monk on the show.
There you go.
Yeah, they're awesome. They're awesome at the quiet game.
Yeah, we'll have to communicate only by email to arrange it, and then when he arrives to the room, we'll just sit in silence and press record. Sounds great,
Yeah.
Dan.
Yeah, they made a movie. It's called Integrate Silence. It basically was that. So, all righty.
All right, we all need to go to bed. Apparently,
Yeah. Yeah,
Getting that
Danielle,
time.
thank you so much. It was a joy talking with you,
Thank
learning more about
you.
the awesome work that FemCatholic is doing. Count on our prayers, and
Thank
folks,
you.
please go check out everything they're doing, especially their website and their social media profiles, and share, because odds are a woman or multiple women who are in that target audience for them, who are kind of on the margins of the church, and they still call themselves Catholic, but they want to know more.
And we want to bring them home.
Amen.
Amen.
Well, God bless you, Danielle. God bless
you.
everyone listening. Thanks so much. And we will be with you again soon.